Debt can be overwhelming and stressful, but it is possible to pay it off and achieve financial freedom. Whether you have credit card debt, student loans, or other forms of debt, there are always ways to get out of it and live within your means, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you in today's video. There are two popular methods to pay off your debt circulating right now. The first is the snowball method, and the other is the avalanche method. Choosing the right method depends on your situation and your personality, but don't worry. I'm going to go into detail for both of these methods, so you can more easily figure out which one works best for you. Number 1. The debt snowball method. This method was made popular by Dave Ramsey, and it's a highly effective method for paying off debt. The way it works is that you list your debts from the smallest to the highest. Remember, this isn't by the smallest interest rate amount, but the smallest amount you have to pay back. So let's say you have credit card debt, student loans, a mortgage, and a car loan. And the order from smallest to largest goes student loans, credit card debt, car loans, and mortgages. In this case, you'll want to pay back your student loans first, regardless of the interest rate. The main reason this method is so effective isn't that it's the fastest way to pay off debt. Instead, it works on the reward and gratification system. We as humans feel good when we accomplish a task we set for ourselves. So if you set a goal to pay off your debt and you can pay your first debt off quickly, you'll feel much better about yourself and more motivated to continue paying off debt. The debt snowball method is most effective if you're someone who struggles with motivation to pay off your finances and is looking for faster gratification for your efforts. If you struggle with motivation, then keep watching until the end of the video, where we'll give you an amazing tip that'll help you stay motivated. Number 2, the avalanche method. The avalanche method is the mathematically faster and more efficient method to pay off your debt. The system works by targeting the highest interest debt you have to pay first, and then cascading down to the smallest. So if you have credit card debt, student loans, a mortgage, and a car loan, then the list would look something like credit card debt, car loan, student loans, and mortgage. As a note, these are just examples to give you an idea of how you should organize your own debts. You'll find this method useful if you're someone who is very disciplined and know you can work on paying off your debt consistently, even if it means seeing no results in the short term. For example, it may be possible that your highest interest debt is your mortgage, and that wouldn't take a short time to pay off at all. So you'll have to be very resilient not to get discouraged along the way. While we've covered the two most popular methods, it won't necessarily speed up the process of paying debt, but it'll ensure that you manage to pay it off. However, if you're looking for a fast track, then keep watching because we're going to give you more tips on how to pay off your debts the fastest way possible. Number 3, make extra payments. You've likely heard that minimum payments are a no-go when it comes to paying off debt. In fact, I've made mention in a previous video how much more you'll be paying in interest if you just paid the minimum balance on a credit card. And I'll tell you, it's a lot bigger than you'd think. However, even if you're paying a good amount every month, nothing stops you from making extra payments. For instance, most people will get paid bi-weekly by their employer. If you're only paying off your debt once a month, you can turn it into a bi-weekly payment with every single paycheck. This can increase the rate at which you pay your debt if you're very good with your budget by double, which is amazing. Of course, this depends on how good you are with your money and how well you budget. Do you want to find out how to budget effectively? Then look at our channel and check out our videos on the topic. If you like what you see, then subscribe to show your appreciation. Number 4, use a balance transfer credit card. This is an excellent choice if you're already tackling your debt and have been paying it off consistently. Since banks are always offering a better rate for new clients, you can get a credit card with a bank that offers a lower interest rate than your current credit card to transfer the balance over, making the interest-related payments smaller. For instance, paying your debt on a credit card with 18% versus one that's 25% is a massive difference. The only downside is that it's another credit card, and if you're not set on paying off your debt, the low interest rate may be tempting and cause you to buy instead. To make sure you're not getting overexcited about paying off your debts, Make sure you've been paying it off consistently for at least 3 months. This is a good sign that you're likely to continue and can feel comfortable getting another credit card to pay off your debts faster. Number 5, take on a side hustle. There's nothing wrong with bringing extra money to the table. In fact, this will greatly help the speed at which you can pay off debt. It's actually fairly common for people to use side hustle for specific financial goals in their life. For example, someone might use all the money they make in a side hustle for hobbies, or they use it strictly for investing. As you probably guessed, you can use a side hustle that's strictly geared toward paying off your debt. As an example, let's say you work a part-time job on the weekends and make around $100. Multiply this by 4 and you suddenly have an extra $400 to pay off your debts every single month. Now let's say you have credit card debt that adds up to $5,000. With just the side hustle, you can pay off your credit card in a little over a year. But if you're pairing that with money from your main income, think about how fast you can pay off your debts. Number 6, seek credit counseling. It can be hard to reach out for help when you're drowning in debt. Firstly, it can be really embarrassing to feel like you're so stuck, and secondly, it can just be downright scary to think about how bad your situation is. However, credit counselors are there to help you through that and not make it worse. For some people, their situation is really tough, and getting any help they can get will get them off their feet and start paying off debt. Of course, you can use free resources like YouTube or this channel, for example. But having an expert in the field can help give you peace of mind and make you feel like it's possible. Help is what allows people to really flourish and be happy in their lives. So if any tip has helped you, then consider lending your helping hand by liking this video. Number 7, celebrate milestones. For those of you who struggle with motivation, this tip will help you stay on track. Motivation is a very psychological thing. It's not something that's static, meaning it stays the same no matter what. In fact, it's ever-changing and can sometimes be as fickle as we are. It can be pretty easy to lose motivation, so you need to give yourself some kind of nourishment to help you keep going. The best way to do this is to set milestones for yourself. For example, let's say you're trying to pay off your mortgage. You know it's going to take you a very long time to pay it off, and thinking about it already makes you feel demotivated. Instead of thinking about the long term, break it up into smaller goals. Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts on using milestones for paying off debts are. Let's say you have to pay back $200,000. Instead of just trying to pay amounts every month or a lump sum every year and tackling the amount, make a yearly milestone. Say to yourself that you want to pay off an extra $10,000 on your mortgage by the end of the year. When you reach this milestone, it'll give you a boost and feel motivated to try and tackle a new goal. The great thing about milestones is that they can be used for any debt and adjusted to whatever length and amount that you want. Even if you only want to put an extra $10 into a credit card, that's still a great milestone to get you started. In fact, the more possible it is, the more likely you'll achieve it, and the more likely you'll feel better about yourself. This method is often used by long-distance athletes, like marathon runners or cyclists, because thinking of running a whole marathon is brutal. But it's much less brutal to run 5 kilometers and constantly break up the distance into these 5-kilometer milestones.